So Paul, we're going to start with you looking into the camera. Just say your name, hometown, occupation.
Paul Linn, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, high school football coach, strength and conditioning coach, and program manager.
Do the occupation one more time.
High school football coach, strength and conditioning coach, and program manager.
So Paul, I'm going to start with just a very general question of why arm wrestling? What drew you to this particular sport?
Right, so I got a background in strength and conditioning, and I played football at all levels. And I'm 38 years old, coming on 38 this year. So 3 years ago, I found the sport of arm wrestling kind of just by looking up the WAL, and it gave me an opportunity to stay in a strength-driven sport and have something to train for now that the football days are done. So it's been definitely something that has sparked a little youth in my life to keep me focused in the weight room and give myself actual competition goals that I haven't had in a while.
And now you're...
That was a good answer.
It's like you practice. Now, as a relative newcomer to the Supermatch series, do you find that as being advantageous, that people don't know your style, or do you see it as a disadvantage? Are there nerves?
Well, I think speaking objectively, I would have to say that it would be a disadvantage, because I think this sport, it's something that, there's things that you can learn only through experience, and the super match arm wrestling style is so much different than the tournament style, which is a majority of what I've been doing. So I think it definitely is a slight disadvantage because I'm not used to the 5 rounds quite as much, and I haven't had the experience reading matches and having one opponent over and over to make adjustments. But all things considered, I've had a few under my belt, and I've really been studying the sport as a whole and the finer portions of it. So I feel I'm ready for this challenge.
What are your so you still coach high school football? Do your students know that you do this?
Right.
What are they saying? Are they always saying, I bet I could beat you, I bet I could beat you?
Yeah, I get a lot of trash talk in the weight room. I mean, that's kind of we have a huge strength facility, and our kids are very in tune with strength. And it's been one of those things where, I was able to be that dominant strength level dude in there for a lot of years, and now we're getting to a point where these guys are passing me. So the trash talk definitely has anteed up. But yeah, I get challenged every now and again. I usually just shrug it off though. But yeah, they definitely track. I mean, I'm pretty active on social media, so most of them are looking at my Instagram.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Who do you see in the WAL as your competition?
Everybody.
Looking past.
Everybody in the middleweights. So pending a win or a loss, I guess everything would be based off of that. If I'm able to pull that off, Craig Touye and I had a good match a couple years back. I've never pulled Jordan Sill. Obviously, Storm and I are training partners, so that makes that pretty interesting. And RVJ is somebody I've never pulled. But I track the middleweights in the WAL very closely. I've never pulled Mike Solaris, never pulled Frode Hoagland. I've never pulled Alan Guerrera. So I'm interested in pulling all of these guys at some point in time.
RVJ being the defending champ, is he the top of the pyramid right now for you? I mean, is that what you're looking at?
Right, he's got the hammer. So obviously he's the top of everybody's pyramid right now. Really, I want to prove that I'm at least approaching that level. I don't feel like there's anybody in the middleweights in the World Arm Wrestling League that I can't compete with and can't beat on a given day. Obviously, I have to progress, and I'm willing to take my time and learn and take the steps up the ladder. But I feel like I'm ready to compete with anybody I'm given, especially given a time to prep and game plan and really peak for that person.
What would winning a WAL hammer mean to you?
That's it. That's the top, right? I mean, what we have here in this country, this is it. This is Super Bowl, right? I mean, that's what everything kind of finishes with in this country. I was able to, my first year competing, I won the amateur 225 right and left arm. So that would be, to me, the next major step in the WAL progression.
All right, we're going to get a little more lighthearted here. Take a drink up. Besides arm wrestling, hobbies, things of that nature, what does Paul Linn like to do?
I mean, I lift weights. Lifting weights and strength has been kind of my thing from the beginning, and obviously football. So I can't, I have that competitive drive. So I could never give up football. Even when I stopped playing, I transitioned seamlessly into coaching. So that's really a large portion of my life. I got some side businesses going on and a bunch of other endeavors. But really, I'm one of those guys where I just keep my plate as full as possible. If I'm not busy and bouncing around doing a bunch of different things, I'm not happy. You can ask my wife. She's never happy about it, but she supports me through it all.
That's it. Before a match, you got your earbuds in. What is Paul Linn listening to get pumped? What is your pump me up song?
No, I'm more of a motivational speaker type, some Eric Thomas stuff. Now I got some pump me up songs too and everything, but really I'm about a couple Eric Thomas speeches and a couple pregame speeches that I kind of have saved on my phone.
Do you have like a fallback football coach speech that you like to go
I am a champion. If you haven't listened to it, all you got to do is Google it. I am a champion.
How's it go?
I can't repeat the whole thing, but basically it's a head football coach at a high school, small obscure high school, and he's giving a speech and he asks a question and the whole team responds with "I am a champion." So it goes on and on and on, and it's pretty intense.
Nice. What is your spirit animal?
My spirit animal? I guess a lion. My 4-year-old son is obsessed with tigers and lions, so we talk about it all the time, and we play lions and everything like that. So I've kind of adhered to that, and especially when it comes to motivation, there's a lot of good quotes about lions and things like that. We use it in football as far as how it relates to pride and an alpha and things of that nature.
Last question. What was Paul Linn like in high school?
See, the Paul Linn in high school might not be the same Paul Linn that everybody's used to seeing now. Had a less than desirable childhood on a lot of levels, and I had a lot of anger because of it. And football was a release for me. And now transitioning into arm wrestling, it's almost like a new start. Being a middle linebacker and playing football and being a captain, you have to have that intensity at all times, and sometimes that translates into negative behavior that I definitely had at a younger age. So arm wrestling has really given me an opportunity to step into what I believe is a gentleman's sport and become more of a gentleman. So I'm very conscious about my the way I present myself, and I'm trying to stay away from any negativities, and I'm trying to be as good a sportsman and being as good a role model to the kids as I possibly can, because I know that my kids watch what I do.
Would you have advice for high school, Paul? If you can go back and tell them?
Oh man, I would say set your goals and don't drift early on. Those are hard lessons I had to learn, not having goals, not having everything spelled out for me. But learning from those mistakes took me to where I am now. And I think now I'm so goal driven that it's almost borderline obsessive. And once again, it's something else you can talk to my wife about.